What's up, interwebs? Ryan from Current Web here, and you may be wondering, Ryan, why am I staring at a gray blanket? Well, that's because this is not an average video. This is a review. And of what, you might ask? This is a review of the Motorola Xoom. First 3.0 honeycomb tablet. Really excited to get my hand on this thing. Really nice tablet, really nice hardware, really nice everything, and I'm loving the operating system. So let's get right to the review. And now while this is booting up, I'm going to go over some of the more boring specs so you have something to look at and not just have to listen to my voice. Dual core. Love that. Okay, Motorola Xoom, first Android 3.0 honeycomb tablet, I already said that. 10.1 inch display with a resolution of 1280 by 800, really nice resolution, about what a normal netbook would have. It's a little bit under half an inch thick. It's got this really nice curve. You see that boot animation? Look at that honeycomb goodness. It's got this nice slight curve to the back of it. I don't know if my camera's actually going to focus on that or not. There we go, that's better. It's got this really nice curve. It feels really good in the hand. It's got aluminum on the back, or it feels like aluminum. It's all metal build except for this bit of plastic up here, but that's needed for the antenna, so you can deal with it. And it's nice matte plastic. Doesn't feel cheap at all. It feels fantastic in the hand. Up here, you have your 2 megapixel camera. On the back, you have a 5 megapixel camera capable of shooting 720p HD video. You got your dual flash and stereo speakers. And I didn't think I would really want stereo speakers or really care if they were stereo or mono, but after using mono speakers on an iPad, and now you come to stereo speakers on the Xoom, absolutely, stereo speakers are amazing. And also your lock button is on the back, which is a weird place to put it, you'd think, but I'll get to that in a minute. On the top, you have your 3.5mm headset jack and your little slot. If I can get to it. This little slot is where you're going to be putting the SD card when a future update actually activates the SD card. But as of right now, it doesn't actually work, so we're not going to worry about that. Let's put that right back in there. And it looks like we're all powered on, and this is your first look at honeycomb. You get this nice lock screen. The way this works is you just grab this, just pull it anywhere outside the circle. So if it's just kind of sitting there, you just go like that. Unlocks. And here is honeycomb. This is Android 3.0 honeycomb, the first tablet operating system coming out of Mountain View from Google. Really nice operating system, absolutely fantastically fluid, a lot like past operating systems from Google, but with its own like nice tablet orientedness. The first thing you notice is this black bar at the bottom is actually where your buttons are going to be. Now the menu button no longer exists in Android 3.0. What you have is a back button, a home button, and a multitasking button, which I'm going to get to in a minute. Now if you're familiar with Android, you'll kind of understand what this is. You've got 5 panels, 5 screens that you can customize with apps. I haven't put any on these 2 over here, just to show you what this would be like if you wanted to put apps on it. You can just tap and hold. Brings this up and you can scroll through. These are all your widgets. Really nice fluid layout. You get this little, if you can't really tell, it's like a holographic outline of the next image, and as you scroll over it fills in. I can also show you that on the app drawer in a minute or two, but it's just a really nice way of working widgets. If you want to add a widget to the screen you're on, say I wanted the book widget, just tap it. You can see nice animations throughout the entire user interface. I really love the animations. If you're happy, you can just tap it. Nice, again, animations, it's the key. The eye candy is the key to a really nice operating system. I'm completely positive of that. That's why iOS is so great. It's the eye candy. And the Android 3.0 honeycomb is really understanding how great eye candy can be. If you want to delete, hold down. You get this nice grid view. Probably not coming through on camera. Maybe it is. Just a little bit. You get this nice grid view and a little like a preview of where it's going to be. So say I want it in the top corner, you just drop it in the top corner. If you want to get rid of it, drop it up, turns red, and drop it. Really intuitive, really nice. I'm really impressed with this operating system. Absolutely, you know, head over heels better than original Android 2.x operating systems. Now before I dig down a little bit more into Android honeycomb, I'd like to give you a couple more specs. Battery life on this sucker, you're going to get about 10 hours as far as Motorola is concerned. Through my own testing, you could probably get about 8.5 to 9.5 hours. They're not wrong by any means, but they're, 10 hours is a lot. As for price, this tablet can be had at most retailers for $600, just straight up $600, no contract, no nothing. This is the Wi-Fi model, I'm just saying. The Verizon model is going to cost you $800 off contract or $600 but on contract with a minimum data plan and all that jazz. This is the Wi-Fi model, again, $600. You can actually get this from Sam's Club or Costco for a little bit less, but since those are, you know, bulk dealers, I'm not going to get into that, so I'm just going to say $600 is where you're going to pay for that. That's what I paid for it from Staples. And I'd like to say, you know, like just straight up, this is definitely worth the $600. It's a little expensive, I'll give it that much, but you get such a powerful device in such a nice felt form factor that it's definitely worth the $600. It can easily replace a netbook. I don't see the reason to get a netbook. I think the browser on this is actually better than the browser from like Mozilla Firefox or anything like that you get on a netbook. As far as notifications go, you get these like Growl-esque notifications when you tap the clock. Any notifications you have will pop up down there, and if you have any, there'll be little icons going across there. Like if I go into the music, as you can see, this is the app drawer again with these holographic little previews. Like as I slide over, you can see them fill in. Like if you look at the I Am Android, as I go over, you can see the outline of the icon, and as you pan over, it fills in. Really, again, just more eye candy that makes this that much better. So like I was doing, go to music, and if I start playing a song, let me bring my volume down. Don't want no copyright infringement, you know what I'm saying? Little AC/DC, but I'm not going to actually let you hear that. So if you're in there and you close it out, if you look down there, I'm not sure if it's really coming through that well on camera. See if I can focus that a little better. You can see this little notification. If you tap it, it'll give you quick controls. You can pause, go to the next one. You can go to the previous one, or you can exit out, so if you don't want to see the notification at all, and that also stops the music. So really, really nice notification system. I'm absolutely in love with it. Another little quick information, you get the network that you're currently on, which is really helpful, and you also get, that's coming through on the screen, the battery, which is really, really helpful because you would have to get like a widget back with 2.x to tell you what your battery life was, or going all the way into settings, but it's right there. Really, really nice. Okay, next thing I need to go over is apps. Now, unfortunately, since the Motorola Xoom has launched, the apps have been, you know, scarce at best. Currently, there are 59 Android apps specifically made for tablets. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, and that isn't a lot, but I've seen so many reviews out there that are saying that legacy apps made for 2.x keep crashing, and this has not happened to me once. And you can see I don't have a small number of apps. I have quite a few apps, and few of them, if really, maybe 3 of them are actually made for tablets. And they all work perfectly fine. I haven't had any of them crash on me. Even like smaller ones like Tiny Shark, which I really have to recommend, really nice free music. Not illegal or anything as far as I know. It's working off of the Groove Shark platform. Let's go ahead and launch it. As you can see, it works perfectly fine. So if I want to look up Little Lonely Island, this is a good time to show you the keyboard. The keyboard on the Motorola Xoom and, you know, Android 3.0 Honeycomb is absolutely fantastic. I love the keyboard. Like if I wanted to type nice and fast, so if I wanted to look up, you know, everybody's favorite singer, Rebecca Black, you can really type with ease. It just works fantastically. And you can scroll through. Now again, this is not a really well-made app, but it doesn't have any lag. It's not crashing. Menu button still works fine. Everything works fine. I don't know where these people are getting the idea that it crashes. I personally really, really love this tablet. And while we're talking about some of the apps, how can I not launch the browser? Now the browser on the Motorola Xoom, I don't think I could say enough about. It's absolutely fantastic. I don't think I've ever used a browser that is this advanced and this awesome. And the browser on the Motorola Xoom is using tab browsing, so you can open up multiple tabs, close tabs, you know, it's just that whole shebang. You can go to your bookmarks. Oops. Wrong button. Go to your bookmarks, scroll through them. So if I wanted to go to, you know, everybody's favorite site, let's go to littledroidlife.com. You can see it loads up really, really fast. All the rendering is fantastic. Scrolling while it's still loading, very, very smooth. I mean, it's not iPad-esque. You see some, you know, lag, little bit of jerkiness. But anybody that complains about that jerkiness, I mean, really, because it's so smooth. It's still loading, pinch to zoom, almost like butter, almost butter. It's kind of like, you know, week or two old butter, I guess. I want to show off the keyboard one more time because there's a couple things I didn't go over with it. Speech is absolutely fantastic. Now I know it's been there since 2.x, it's probably been there since before that, but I have to admit, they've gotten it even better than before, which I didn't think was possible. So if I wanted to go to, you know, a very, very flash capable page, Engadget, you know, go to Engadget. Obviously, this being a very mobile tablet has portrait support. It's going to be hard to see. I can't quite fit it in frame, but as you can see, it's still loading, and you know, scrolling is, you know, buttery smooth. It's absolutely fantastic browsing experience on the Xoom. You get a little bit of white, but again, it's still loading, so you got to give it a little credit for being so smooth while it's still loading. Again, pinch to zoom. See, a little bit jerky, but being such a big page, it's very, very nice. A little jerk, but nothing to really complain about. Again, iPad is definitely smoother as far as pinch to zoom goes, but complaining about this is just insane because this is really nice. So let's scroll down and find one with a video so I can show you Flash. Let's look at this. Switch this back into landscape. As you can see, there are animations when turning in between portrait and landscape. It's a little slower than I would like, but again, one of the big things about Honeycomb is it's as fast as you need it to be, but you always want it to be just a hair faster, but you feel kind of stupid complaining about its speed when it's as nice as it is. So let's load up Flash. Now this is not a YouTube clip, this is some proprietary something. Make this full screen. Oops, looks like it's one gigantic ad. Yeah, looks like that's an ad. There we go.
It's a full drum kit in my jeans.
Do you want to stand up for a second?
Yes.
Just so we can see whether they look like kind of brilliant but fairly ordinary jeans. Okay. Yeah. Careful with your microphone.
Go back that way, man. Yeah. So can you give us a sample? What noise is coming from where?
Okay, let's get out of that. You really don't need to hear what noises are coming out of where, eh? So that's the browser, absolutely fantastic browser, really, really happy with it. Now moving on, I want to talk a little bit more about the home screen. The widgets on the home screen are so much more refined and absolutely fantastic. We finally have support for scrolling widgets with the stock launcher, which we didn't have in 2.x, and I'm really, really happy about it because Google has made some really fantastic little widgets. As you can see, I have my email widget right here. I have my other email widget right there. I have my calendar, which I have no upcoming appointments, which is shocking. Then we also have this really nice browser widget, which I love all these widgets. Like, everything about the widgets is so refined. And the other thing I really love about Honeycomb is you can go out and get your own widgets. You don't have to use what Google's has. You can get Circle Launcher, which lets you have this nice little shortcut for all your games. I love Circle Launcher, absolutely a space saver. Just really, really useful app. You can get a calendar widget, which I think this is the S2 calendar widget. Not sure if that's easy to remember, but it works really, really well. You can get Widgetzoid, which gives you these little, like, because, you know, these settings are great and they're really, really useful when you're in an app, but I'd love to be able to toggle my sound, my GPS, turn on and off the flashlight, and, you know, sometimes I need to get my battery and I don't want to have to tap the clock. So, really nice to have your own widgets. You know, it's just awesome to customize your tablet. As you can see, you can get your you know, TweetDeck and some weather going up in here. As you can see, it's raining where I'm living, which sucks. And the other thing I really want to go over is these widgets. You see these, I call them card widgets. I'm not sure if they have a really official name. I just want to show you this. Get this focused. Still not really good at focusing this stinking camera. Alright, that's good enough. Now when you scroll through them, you see they fade away and kind of bend down. You can go fast. Scroll back through. I just love this animation. This is basically the encasement of what Honeycomb does. Is beautiful, almost Tron-like, but without being, you know, incredibly geeky. Just really fantastic animations. The graphics on this tablet are unbelievable. I'm just really happy with it. I feel like Honeycomb is exactly like older operating systems of Android, but it finally fits on the tablet. It's got a couple nice little things about it that make it more tablet oriented, you know, these better buttons and everything. But it's so much like other versions of Android. If you ever used Android, you're going to understand how to use this. I mean, it's still got the app drawer. It's still got widgets. It's still got, you know, home, back buttons. It's still got voice search, which is fantastic. It's still got everything that you recognize from Android, but with this nice tablet kind of skin on top of it. I just want to say it again. If you see any reviews of people saying, you know, 2.x apps just keep crashing on the Xoom, I just haven't seen that. And one of the best examples is that there's no native Twitter client for Android 3.0. So I have decided to use TweetDeck, which I find works perfectly fine. I don't think I've had any apps crash once except for the browser, but I understand why. I was trying to watch Mega Video. I'm assuming Flash crashed more than the browser crashed. I don't get this amazing crashing problem that so many people have. So as you can see, this is my, this is my TweetDeck. It's stretched out. You get your menu button, phone-esque menu button for backwards compatibility. But it's smooth, it doesn't crash, it feels fully compatible. And then if you're wondering, I'm at CurrentWeb on Twitter if you really want to follow me, but I wouldn't recommend it because I don't use it for video kind of stuff, and I'm assuming that's why you're here. But again, I don't have any of these issues, it works in portrait, landscape, everything works fine on it. I don't have these magical crashing issues that everybody seems to be having. The only issue that I really do have with the 2.1x apps is the fact that when you hit home button, it's a little slow to react. You're inside of here, you're doing whatever, and you hit home. It worked better that time. I'll give it that much. But every now and then, it's just slow to react to the home button. That's pretty much the only real laggy complaint I can have about the Xoom, is that sometimes the home button takes a couple seconds to actually react to you hitting the home button. Next thing I want to show you is books, because I feel like that's a really nice representation of the power behind the Xoom. I've been reading Gathering Blue, which I know sounds like a terrible book, but if you Google it, you'll understand. It's so far a really nice book. As you can see, page turn animations, really fantastic, fluid. You get this nice, the text is actually wrapping as you pull. You get shadows. It's just really nice. And as you can see, while you're in this, the buttons, if you notice along the bottom, are gone. And if you look really closely, if the camera doesn't pick this up, I'm gonna be sad. Oh, that's loud. Oh, I'll do it myself. If you look really closely, I don't know if this is coming through on camera at all, there are these three little buttons there that represent, and if you tap this bottom bar, they pop up again. And if I tap the book, they disappear again. It's a really nice little UI element. I really love the little eye. Again, it's more eye candy. That's all that Honeycomb is. It's 2.x that stretches out to a tablet and adds a heck of a lot of eye candy. I absolutely adore it. So in closing, I absolutely adore this tablet. It's meeting or exceeding all of my expectations. The only complaint that I really have is that the soft buttons are sometimes slow to react. You know, you hit the back button, a couple seconds later the back button will finally get clicked. You hit the home button, a second or two later it'll finally exit to the home screen. That's really the only complaint that I have, and it doesn't deter you from using the tablet. It's just kind of like a little annoyance. But absolutely amazing tablet, speedy everything with the 1 gig of DDR2 RAM, dual core NVIDIA processor running at 1 gigahertz. Everything is wicked fast on this. I'm absolutely loving it. So if you have the cash to spare, absolutely pick this up. If you're thinking of a netbook, you have to go into, you know, a Staples or a Best Buy and just try it out, because you may find that you really only want the netbook so you can, you know, do a little quick office and edit some documents. You want to type a little, you can do that on here. You have third-party apps to do that kind of stuff. Or maybe you find that you just kind of want the netbook so you can go on the browser. This has absolutely fantastic browser, one of the best browsers of any mobile device that I've ever used. I absolutely adore the tablet. If you have the cash to spare, absolutely at least look at it. You owe yourself to look at it. I know there are a couple of you out there thinking, well, how does this compare to the iPad? I was looking at the iPad 2 and I'm thinking of getting that, but how does the Xoom compare? And I'd say you have to try both. I'd say the Xoom is more of a tablet than the iPad is. I still feel, and I know this is such an old joke, and it's like, you know, the thing that Android fanboys say is that the iPad is a giant iPod Touch, but there's some truth to that statement. I'm not saying that the iPad is useless and only has the use of an iPod Touch, but there is some truth to that statement, that it is kind of just a big iPod Touch. It looks the same, whereas Honeycomb, you feel like it's a tablet operating system. Everything feels like it's meant to be, whereas when I use an iPad, I kind of feel like, this feels exactly like my iPod, which is kind of the point to iOS, how it's like across multiple devices you can have the same user interface. But I enjoy the tablet operating system, you know, of Honeycomb, as opposed to basically the phone operating system of the iPad. So this compared to the iPad, you have to go try them out. The iPad is way easier to use, but I feel like the tablet, as far as the Xoom goes, can replace a netbook, whereas the iPad really is more of a luxury item. Thanks for watching. I hope I was able to help somebody out there. So, everybody, have a nice weekend. Peace.